Darkcast Network, indie pods with a dark side.
Hello, is this thing on? Okay, good. I am sorry to interrupt your listening pleasure, but my name is Tiffany, and I'm here to tell you about my podcast, True Crime Connections. It's an advocacy podcast that talks with real survivors about real shit. This is the place you want to be if you've been in a toxic relationship or anything tragic has happened to you and you're looking to find your strength and healing. No two episodes are alike, but they all give you useful tools that you can take with you. So make sure to find me on your favorite podcast platform, or you can go to truecrimeconnections.com and come join the Hope Building community. See you there.
Hi, this is Kelly.
And this is Jenna.
And you're listening to ODFM.
This episode is One Dog Man for Murder. All right, so we are going back to the year 2006, and we're in Canada. Specifically the town of Medicine Hat in southeast Alberta, Canada, which I guess is like just directly north of Montana, although Montana is a really big state, so it's not very specific. But
very
not
close.
that far, right?
No, it's crazy how close they are.
So apparently it's known as one of the best places to live in Canada. It's got affordable homes and good schools and a low crime rate. So this is not the kind of place where you'd think that a story like I'm about to tell would happen.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. It seems like a typical little town.
Canada, I always think cold, right? Further north, cold, right?
Yeah.
It is dubbed the sunniest city in Canada because they have about 300 days of sunshine a year.
Nice.
So it gets warm in the summer, it gets cold in the winter, but the sun is still out.
Wow.
Right.
Okay. So it's beautiful. It's a good
this is a beautiful, great spot. People move here, just like the family I'm going to tell you about. So it's Deborah and Mark Richardson, who had met in 1990 at a gym.
Okay.
They actually
so that really does happen. It's not like in the movies
where people meet in the gym. Yeah, I guess so. Although I'm a little unclear if they met because they were both working out or because they were both attending these classes. Because so they met at the gym. They had classes for recovering addicts.
Oh,
I don't know if they were like workout classes or like recovery.
Yeah, just a meetup.
I'm not. That part's a little fuzzy, but that's okay. By the time they met, they had both been sober for quite a while. They both had pasts with alcohol and drugs, and they had cleaned up their lives. And then they met, so they understood each other, right? And they were both ready to move on as functioning adults and have a brand new, fresh start. So they got married in 1991, and 2 years later, they had a daughter they named Jasmine. And then 4 years later, they had a son named Tyler Jacob. And they were good people. They were hardworking. They weren't rich, but they made sure that their kids didn't go without. They worked really hard for every dollar that they had. And by the fall of 2003, Mark was, I'm not sure if he got promoted or he got a new job, but either way, that's when the Richardson family moved to Medicine Hat because they moved to this great location, got a really nice, it was a modest house, but for them, it was
perfect.
It was a big upgrade for them. It was great, right? Jasmine was 9, Tyler was 5 at this time. Deborah often sponsored other recovering addicts and spoke at like Narcotics Anonymous meetings. Like she was trying to give back, like, hey, I survived, you guys can too, right?
Yeah, could help give advice. Okay.
And she also offered like holistic therapy out of their house. So I feel like they were a pretty good example that they were setting for their kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? They're on a good path.
And by all accounts, they were like the epitome of a normal, happy family, right? Family of 4. Family of 4. They got a boy, they got a girl. They attended church weekly. Jasmine was a beautiful young girl. She had a bright smile and long, silky dark hair and bright blue eyes. She thrived at school, and she was an honor student at St. Mary's Catholic School in Medicine Hat. She was well behaved. She adored her little brother. He looked up to her. You know,
Perfect
everything seems
situation.
great.
Yeah.
Okay. But, that all sounds too good, right?
Yeah. It sounds like the shit's about to hit the fan sometime.
So, yeah. And the shit that was coming, it's like an evil that we all know called teenage hormones.
Oh, no.
It's an evil.
It's a fucking struggle. Not gonna lie.
It's an evil, right? So at this point, Jasmine is 12 years old and she's looking to find herself. She's pushing some boundaries.
Oh, yeah.
She's testing her limits,
Of course.
Outwardly to family and friends, she remained sweet and bubbly. But she was starting to struggle internally. And this is the age of the internet. But before we really knew the dangers of the internet.
Yeah, it was so innocent seeming at first. And now we know better.
She's going online and she's exploring at different websites and she's chatting with people online. We don't know who they are.
Yeah.
And she's becoming exposed to some other things, which isn't always a bad thing.
No,
but maybe when you're 12, it's not.
It's a little too soon, maybe.
So she started listening to death metal.
Hey, I can relate.
Right. Okay. And outwardly, she started to embrace more of a quote unquote goth look.
Yeah,
right?
like emo. Yeah.
Exactly. She started doing the dark eyeliner and the blackish red lipstick and all black clothing. And her parents were like, okay, this is normal, right?
Right.
I mean,
totally. Not a big deal.
They had a younger life where they went into drugs and alcohol. They're like, if she wants to,
if you want to change your hair and wear some crazy makeup and do shit, go for it.
Go
Not
for
a big
it, right?
deal.
We're like, that's cool, right?
Yeah.
They only had a problem with it when she started getting in trouble at school.
Oh, shit. Yes.
Mainly for the clothing she was wearing. Because sometimes she would have chains and spiked collars, and that just didn't fly at the Catholic school.
Oh, I forgot it was Catholic school.
Right.
Yeah,
So they're like, look, you can experiment, but like, you can't, like.
What if she just added crosses instead of spikes? They're little crosses
maybe
everywhere.
That's what she
maybe there
to
would have
do.
been like, okay.
Maybe if she had just done the all black, she could have been like, I'm thinking of a future as a nun. And then they would have just let it go.
And they're like, oh, damn.
But again, she's this good kid and she's trying to see.
Yeah, she wants to kind of find herself.
Right. So she had several accounts on social networks like MySpace, right? Because this was the age of MySpace. But she also started going on a site called vampirefreaks.com.
Well, okay. Do they have good clothes? Because it sounds like a place I might visit.
Well, it wasn't like Hot Topic. This was this was a social networking. This was a
chat.
Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so it was geared more towards goth, emo, punk scene, right? And there she had some other profiles where she went like by names like X Killer Kitty X and Runaway Devil. And again, she's 12, but she listed herself as 15.
I keep forgetting she's only 12. Wow.
Right.
Okay.
And, and I have some of the pictures. She started posting pictures of herself where she looked way older than 12.
Oh, yeah.
So she probably had developed a little on the early side, but she played that up. And then with all the makeup and stuff, girl did not look 12.
I've seen them at the schools. You're like, whoa. But are you sure you're not 20?
Brain development wise, she's still
young.
12.
Still a baby.
On her profile there, she listed several they're relatively harmless interests like piercings, tattoos, unnatural hair colors, loud music, horror movies. Okay.
Yeah.
But then
not a big deal.
Mixed in with her interests were things like scarification.
Ooh.
Hatchets. Fire, blood, duct tape.
Duct tape?
Duct tape?
I mean, you can make some really cool DIY crafts with duct tape. Maybe that's
right, like the wallets and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Kinky shit.
Yeah, that's not where she 12. Was going with it.
There's no, you're 12.
Yeah,
there's no
she's finding
shit when you're
things
12.
online that
12, we hold hands. Okay? I'm sorry. Maybe
we're not duct tape. Well,
we're not duct
I do remember people
stuff.
duct taping others to like walls and stuff as jokes at school. Yeah.
Seriously? At 12 or like older?
Middle school. Middle school's rough.
I will agree. My daughter is 2 weeks away from like getting out of there, and we are counting.
Yes.
She and I are both counting down the days.
Yes.
Middle school is no.
It's rough.
I've
but
told
I don't
her,
think they knew anything about duct tape as a BDSM thing.
I've told her repeatedly, nobody liked middle school. You survive middle school. She also listed her heroes as Jeffrey Dahmer, Chris Angel, Marilyn Manson, Danny Filth. I had to look that up, but he's the lead singer of some weird band, and Batman.
Batman versus, I mean, Batman, yes.
The Dark Knight, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, maybe. Batman, I'm good with. And who was it? The second one you said? Was
Chris Angel, the magic guy.
That's okay.
Right?
He's got some cool stuff.
Jeffrey Dahmer, although I will say,
no.
I'm pretty sure in my senior, I don't know, there's like a senior magazine or something from high school. Now, granted, I was older than 12. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I put one of my personal heroes as Amy Fisher, which looking back, I'm like, wow, that was pretty tasteless. I don't know what I was.
At the time, you think you're being funny and it's just stupid. Yeah.
I know, right. Yeah. And now I'm like, wow, I'm so glad that's permanently written down somewhere. Yeah. But anyway, again, nothing is seriously disturbing about this. Yeah, it's just like, you're going to regret doing that in a couple of years. You're going to be like, wow, that was dumb.
Yeah, like she's looking for attention and wanting to look tougher than she was and that type of stuff.
Oh, something about her like personal statement was something along the lines of, welcome to my ultimate demise or something like that. I'm like, wow, that's pretty dark.
She's listening to a lot of the death metal.
I'm just like, whatevs. She's testing things out, right? She's pushing her boundaries. Yeah. She's very much a subject of her normal suburban life, and she's seeing what else is out there. Right. And she's being exposed to some very new things because all of a sudden internet, right?
Absolutely. And she's probably just trying to make herself seem tougher than she is because she thinks that's cool. Yeah.
And at first she's really just talking to other teens online that share her interest. Although you don't really know that they're teens. You don't know who they're actually talking to. But we didn't know that then, right?
No. At the time you trusted everybody.
Right. If someone said that they were another 12-year-old girl, you just assumed they were.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Why
lie? Didn't know that there were these creepoids.
Well, this is not actually. The internet ended up being the least of her issues.
Okay.
She started attending local punk rock shows with her friends.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But this is where she met a boy.
Oh, crap.
This is where those hormones come in.
And he's probably like 19 or 20 or something.
Well, he actually told her that he was a 300-year-old werewolf.
Oh, well, that's even more believable. Yes.
This is where I struggle because I'm like, she was an honor student, huh?
This is where fantasy comes in. Wow.
His name was Jeremy Stenke, and he was 23. So twice her age.
I had a feeling he was, but he's a werewolf, so it doesn't matter, I guess.
And he bragged about enjoying the taste of blood.
Oh, God.
And he wore a vial of it around his neck.
Of course he did. It was probably just colored water that he said was blood, but
Right. First, this is where we got to go off on a little tangent. Okay. First of all, as you know from my past, I dated some questionable people.
Yeah, we both have.
Long after I was 12.
Right.
But I really, really feel like if any of those dumbasses had tried to tell me that they were a 300-year-old werewolf, I would have been like, okay, we're done.
Yeah. Well, or thought, that's hilarious. Like,
you know what I mean?
What are you trying to do? Because that's hilarious. Are you going to make a YouTube channel?
Right.
Something, but no.
Okay. I also want to point out that the first Twilight book didn't come out till 2 years later.
Okay.
So
that was my other thought was the Twilight
That
stuff.
was my first thought, right? Well, because I also was confused because I was like, he liked the taste of blood. That's vampires. Like you're getting everything.
You're getting your guys confused.
You don't even have your
pick a side. Down. There's only two sides to that.
Exactly. Are you a Jacob or are you an Edward? What's the thing, right?
You can't be both.
Anyway, so the first Twilight book didn't come out till 2 years after she met Jeremy, right?
So he was ahead of his time.
Right. And we didn't know that Jacob was a werewolf until book 2, which came out even after that. Like, because I read them all. Okay. I saw all the movies. All right. I was into it.
I loved it.
Exactly.
I loved it.
I will admit. Okay. But here's the other thing. Jeremy did not look anything like Jacob or Taylor Lautner.
He was not a good one.
He was pale skinned.
Okay.
Right.
So he was more vampire-ish.
Right. Light bleached hair that was buzzed and starting to recede. So, hi, 300 years old. I get that. Like,
so you really are.
Like I said, he's got this hair that's starting to recede. At least the one picture, I only have 2 images of him. The one picture, he's got the dark eyeliner around his eyes and the pale blue eyes, which just made him look that much more washed out.
Yeah.
He had the septum ring in his nose, like the bull nose. Like,
was he super thin too? Type of thing? Yeah. Okay. That tracks.
And he was in a heavy metal band. So this was every parent's dream for their 12-year-old daughter's first boyfriend.
They're like, please don't. The nightmare has started.
Can you imagine? Jeremy Steinke had a rough upbringing. He did not grow up the way Jasmine grew up, okay? His mother was an alcoholic, probably in as a way to lose herself from Jeremy's father, who was abusive to both him and her.
Of course, yeah. So she's just trying to escape.
Right. And then after his father left and they got divorced, his mother actually remarried twice. Both of his stepdads were physically abusive to Jeremy.
Okay.
So by the age of 13, was one of our 13s.
Okay.
He, out of probably desperation of his life situation, developed this new persona of a goth werewolf that drank blood.
Okay. So this is almost like his dissociative disorder type thing. I mean,
okay. He dropped out of high school after being bullied, which I can't imagine, because if you're like 15 telling everyone you're a 300-year-old werewolf, they're going to be like, they're going
to really make fun of him. Oh no.
So he drops out of high school. By 2006, which is when our story happens, he wasn't working. He was just playing in his band, living in a trailer with his mom.
Okay.
And spent most of his time online talking to girls. Girls, not women.
Yeah, just
girls.
Oh.
Because he's 23.
He's a little stuck in the...
Most were way younger than him. Which, I mean, if you're a 300-year-old werewolf, most people are younger than you, right? So, I mean,
everybody's
they were
younger
way younger. Okay.
Yeah, so he's kind of like he never grew up, and he's still got his
he kind of got stunted there, right? When they met at the punk show, Jasmine told Jeremy she was 15 because that whole 3 years makes a huge difference. And the age gap didn't bother him because, like I said, all the girls. Right. He's used to dating girls that are at least 280 years younger than him. So it's cool.
280.
Whatever. So they exchanged. Yeah. They exchanged info and continued to talk through vampirefreaks.com.
Okay.
Where his profile name was Soul Eater.
Oh, yeah. I want to be with Soul Eater. That's a hot name.
And then their relationship kind of developed through those conversations.
Okay.
Like, here we go. In a message to Runaway Devil, Jasmine, from Soul Eater, that was posted March 8th, 2006, he wrote, God, I can't get over not seeing or talking to you. I yearn to hear your soft, subtle, misspelled the word subtle voice, and long to be held in your arms, wherever that might be. I don't care, but just to share the time we have together with you are to die for, and there is not anything that could ever replace the way you make me feel. Hearts, I miss you, I love you. And then it goes on and on about how he's going to write yet another song about her.
Okay, I was going to say this sounds like a poem.
Right. It ends with, talk to you later, cuddle bunny. Hugs and kisses. So yeah, he's dark.
I was gonna say he doesn't sound so tough. Like he's not talking about eating your soul. He's just in love. Okay.
Cuddle bunny.
Cuddle bunny. I'm gonna drink your blood later though.
Anyway, as a testament to his love for her, he gave her a vial of his own blood to wear around her neck. Kind of like how, like in the day, they would give their pin, or you would exchange rings, or wear a Letterman's jacket. Yeah, no.
Yeah, blood.
Vial of blood.
I don't want your secretions in any form, especially not on me all the time. Thank you.
So, do you remember when didn't Angelina Jolie do that with
Billy
Billy Bob Thornton?
Billy Bob. That's it.
They also looked they had an age discrepancy
Yeah,
too,
they
didn't
did.
they?
Yeah. He's much older. Yeah. He's an odd duck. Anyway.
Well, so Jasmine starts wearing this vial of blood. This is when her parents discover that their 12-year-old is dating a 23-year-old man / werewolf.
There's like, what's that new necklace, honey? That's odd. Does it have blood in it? Does it have
we've
something?
Exchanged the dog collar for what now?
Yeah. Wait.
This is a step up, isn't it? She is obviously immediately grounded. They're like, hell's to the no.
Great. But that's going to blow up too. So,
she's forbidden to see him.
Okay.
And they took away her computer. So now I looked it up. This is a good 2 years before smartphones were like really a thing. So no computer, no internet. Like that was her only.
She couldn't talk to him now.
She couldn't talk to him now.
And they don't live in the same area?
I'm not sure. They wasn't that far from each other, but that was her contact with him.
Yeah.
So but she played the good girl for a period of time. And they're like, okay, you're behaving.
You're getting better.
As long as you promise to stop all contact with Jeremy, then you can have your computer back.
Oof. Yeah.
And of course she didn't. She got better at hiding it.
Yeah, of course you just get better at lying.
Exactly. Right.
Like maybe we should have tried for therapy.
Right. Good Lord. Like, let's discuss all the ways a 23-year-old man is not right for you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. Maybe we talk about the fact that there's no fucking way he's a 300-year-old werewolf.
Werewolf. Yeah.
Maybe we go that, that angle and go,
do
you not see how ridiculous he sounds? Where's our honor roll student?
I don't think just grounding her is gonna help.
So Jeremy was furious with Jasmine's parents for trying to keep them apart because he had become obsessed with her. Now, and I also think Jasmine was obsessed with him in a way.
Oh yeah.
First love, 12-year-old.
God,
whatever.
Totally. This was my one love. Right. It's Romeo and Juliet-ish.
Yeah. And I think you're right. I think he was 23, but like about 12, 13
Probably.
in his brain development because he was obsessed with her. This is like this is how he breathes, right?
Oh yeah. It's the attention.
Ooh. So on his blog,
oh no,
he wrote a post or a poem, depending on how you want to look at it, he entitled it Payment. My lover's rents, and I'm not kidding. I mean like apostrophe RENTS. My parents' rents.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Parents? Lovers?
I'm sorry. My lover's rents are totally unfair. They don't know what's going on and just assume. She is slowly going insane.
Oh, no.
She continues to thank that I came. I assume he means like came into her life. Like, she's thankful, like, right?
Okay.
Their throats I want to slit.
Yikes.
They shall pay for their insolence. Finally, there shall be silence. Their blood shall be payment.
Wow. But the word insolence is pretty good for
considering that he misspelled subtle, I was a little impressed with that too. I will say that I picked that up. I was like,
looked that one up. Yeah.
No, I know. Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe he started using like a thesaurus online.
He was like, oh, good word.
Cool. Put
Does
a
this rhyme?
Word in there, right? On the morning of Sunday, April 23rd, 2006, it's a Sunday morning.
Okay.
One of 8-year-old Tyler's friends knocked on the door of the Richardson house to see if Tyler could come out and play, right?
Yeah.
It's a Saturday or a Sunday.
Yeah.
Since their car was in the driveway and he was like, well, it looks like they're home, and they were always home on Sundays.
Okay.
He peeked into a downstairs window and saw someone lying on the floor and some blood.
Oh, shiz. Okay.
So he ran home and got his mom, and she followed him back and looked through the window and was like, oh my God, that looks like a body in blood. And so she ran home and called the police.
Oh no.
So police arrived. Deborah and Mark Richardson were found on a lower level of the house. I can't tell if it was some places said basement, some it's like a split level. I have a picture of the house.
Yikes.
It could have just been like the downstairs level. I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter. They were in a downstairs area. Both are dead. Both are covered in blood. Deborah had been stabbed 12 times in the chest. Mark was stabbed 24 times in the chest and the back, and he had numerous self-defense wounds. This part. Their family dog was laying next to Deborah, whimpering.
Come on.
Still okay, but just like
so sad.
I don't know what to do. My mom's not good.
Breaking. Come take care of my parents.
There was blood and shoe prints all over the floor, but apparently there was so much blood that they couldn't even get shoe impressions because it was just like a hot mess.
Oh, it was so thick. Oh,
it was, yeah. And it was
gross.
just, it was chaotic. There were bloody smears and handprints that led to the upstairs bedrooms.
Oh my God. What the hell?
Right?
Okay.
So they carefully go upstairs, and in his bed, they found 8-year-old Tyler.
No, baby.
He's covered in blood, along with all of his toys and stuffed animals in his room. He had been stabbed 5 times, and his throat was slit.
God, he didn't do anything.
No, he was just a little 8-year-old boy.
Oh my God.
2 6-inch black knives were found at the scene. One of them had a bent tip, which they said showed the force of the stabbing that occurred.
Jesus.
Police were immediately alarmed that Jasmine was nowhere to be found. And they immediately put out an Amber Alert because they figured, well, she must have been abducted then.
Right. They thought it was a kidnapping.
However, they started to wonder when they started to search her room, which apparently had begun as like a pink and purple room with unicorns all over. And then in the past year, it had morphed
transforming.
Slightly.
Yeah.
Right. And they're like, okay, something's weird here.
Okay.
Detectives contacted Jasmine's friends, and they went to her school.
Oh, God.
Where they
learning about,
Jasmine had undergone a dramatic change over the past year.
Oh, God.
Police were given access to her locker, where they found, I have a photo of this. It's very disturbing.
Oh, God.
It was like a comic written on a sheet of paper.
Okay.
Of stick figures, right? Okay. Stick figures going through. And I'm going to try to describe this, but I have a photo that I can post. It depicts a family of 4 going for a walk, but then one of the stick figures veers off and goes over to a truck that is labeled Jeremy's truck. Okay. To retrieve a tank of gasoline that they then put into a lawn sprinkler. And then the 3 other stick figures are sprayed by the lawn sprinkler. And then the first stick figure lights a match, and it ends with the original 3 in flames, screaming that they're being burned alive.
Whoa. I know words. Wow.
Yeah.
So she obviously, even her little brother, she didn't give a shit about. No.
So police are talking to Jasmine's friends, and they're like, yeah, she's dating this werewolf guy dude named Jeremy.
And they start laughing. She's
right. They're like,
I see. A werewolf.
Look, we realize this sounds like complete and utter bullshit, but we're being totally serious right now.
She told us she's dating a werewolf.
Yeah. Okay.
Really
they also mentioned that Jasmine would joke about wanting her parents dead because of their strict rules.
Who jokes about that? Like, I can see people, like kids, like, okay, but I hate them.
Yes, I do remember, like, I hate you. I wish you weren't my mom. I wish you were dead. Like, in the heat of the moment, but not like,
but not with your friends and discussing it. And
like, my parents are so lame and they're so mean and
I remember that stuff.
They're stifling me. And, they're awful, so and I wish I didn't have them. You would say things more like, I wish I didn't have them, or but you wouldn't wish harm to them.
Not that I don't remember anybody saying that. Like, I remember, my dad's a total dick. Can't wait to move out. That type of thing.
No one took her seriously. No one was like,
like, okay, she's just venting.
Exactly. But detectives are like, she might not be so much of a victim as a suspect.
Yeah. Now that we're finding out a little bit, especially this cartoon. I mean, so who's Jeremy? Who's got Jeremy's truck?
Right.
Wow. That's a good clue.
So again, Medicine Hat was this quiet, picture perfect town for families. And so this was big news, and it went national that day. Which actually was a good thing.
Yeah.
And it was reported, like, they couldn't use her name because she was underage, but they reported that their 12-year-old daughter and her boyfriend were of interest for the police to speak to.
Right. They just need to find these people.
And because of that, police received a tip the next day that the couple was spotted at a gas station about 100 miles away, and they were quickly found and arrested. So within 24 hours of the murders, they had them in custody.
Did the side of his truck say Jeremy's truck? So it was like super easy to spot. They're like, there it is.
Jeremy's truck. Right. So
maybe he had on the license plate. He could have a vanity plate like the werewolf, just 300
Wolfman.
years. Wolfman, Dogman.
300. Dogman 300. There you go.
Dogman 300.
God. Turns out that they had spent the past 24 hours hanging out with friends. And although Jasmine and Jeremy had been laughing and joking about how they had just killed her family.
Oh my God.
None of them took them seriously.
Yeah.
Like everyone's like, people don't,
Right.
Jeremy even admitted to one of them, or well, they didn't think it was an admission. They thought he was just being
a dipshit.
Right. He was like, we gutted them like fish.
Jesus Christ.
Right.
These idiots too. Like, first rule, don't tell anyone. Dum-dums.
That's Fight Club. Apparently Kill Club is different.
Yeah, you're right. Kill Club.
That you can just do that shit wherever.
Fight Club rules don't apply to Kill Club.
No.
Damn it.
They really didn't take them seriously because both of them seemed pretty relaxed and happy.
Okay.
And they were about to travel north to go camping with friends. So that was the plan, like the next day or something, or that day or something. So like everyone was like,
it just makes me wonder if it's that juvenile brain. Like it dissociates somehow, like can't see it as a real reality. What they did.
And I'm guessing also, I don't know if it was his friends or her friends or a combination of both, but maybe also just being young adults and stuff. And I don't know, the fact that their friend used to always refer to himself as a 300-year-old werewolf, they're just like,
they're just weirdos.
No, they don't believe anything he says.
Right. It's just a weirdo.
We don't take him seriously.
Right.
But once they were in custody, police interviewed the friends. Who didn't realize that they had been given very specific and accurate details that matched the crime scene.
Oh, cool. Perfect.
Because police are like, okay, this is tracking. And they're like, what?
Yeah. So this is real? It really happened?
Yeah, they were.
Wow. So he is a 300-year-old werewolf?
Wait, does that mean that part's real too? Right? So yeah, and Jeremy's friends are like, that's exactly what they said. They're like, he talked about being a 300-year-old werewolf. Like we just don't.
Yeah, we don't believe
Jeremy
shit.
being Jeremy,
weirdo.
We've known him for years. He's never turned into a werewolf on a full moon, so we just assumed it was bullshit. Like I don't know.
He hadn't hit that point, kind of like Teen Wolf. He hadn't grown into it yet. He knew about it.
Right. They also talked about how Jeremy would constantly say that he liked the taste of blood and that he drank it regularly, which was the reason for the vial around his neck in case he got like a craving and he needed a hit,
That's so stupid.
I know. And one of his former roommates actually admitted to watching him cut his own hand to lick the blood.
Ew.
So they're like, yeah, he was a weird, creepy guy, but he was full of shit.
Was he?
Or so we thought.
Yeah, we thought he was until then.
Jeremy told investigators that Jasmine had begged him to kill her parents.
Okay.
While Jasmine said, oh, no, this was all Jeremy. And I was just a bystander.
Yeah.
Like, I hypothesized about killing my parents because that way we could be together. But
sounds
I
she's
didn't
a willing
mean it.
Otherwise, she'd have been crying and shit and sad and go like,
oh,
help me.
Exactly.
No,
right.
She's that part of this.
She was like, I didn't expect him to actually do it. Like we weren't going to do it. It was just talk. Right.
Right. Okay.
So
honey.
Jeremy, being the brilliant 300-year-old werewolf that he is,
you think he'd learn by now,
unknowingly confessed to the murders to an undercover cop.
So he's willing to tell anybody his story. So,
oh yeah, except for the cops. He's just
right.
He's just talking, right? He actually asked the guy if he'd ever seen the movie Natural Born Killers and went on to say that he thought it was the best love story of all time.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Jeremy later went on to say he was like, oh, I was just bragging in jail because I wanted to look tough in front of the other, people to, it was, I was just
he's
bullshitting.
Saying that he was bullshitting. So, right. Okay.
For those who don't know, I haven't seen this movie in
I know. I haven't
a long time.
Like 20 years.
Right, exactly. I did look it up just to make sure I was getting it right. Natural Born Killers was a 1994 Oliver Stone film starring Woody Harrelson and Juliette Lewis as two people with traumatic childhoods who became lovers and then mass murderers who became famous in the media.
Right. Yeah, it's
And
like
that was
a modern Bonnie and Clyde type of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like on a much more disgusting level.
It was really good, but yeah, it's along the lines of Quentin
was really
Tarantino.
good.
Yeah.
Apparently he wrote like the original, either the
Oh,
screenplay
that
or a
would make
short
sense.
story or something. Right.
Because that's why it makes me think of like Pulp Fiction-ish. Yeah, it's kind of like campy somehow. You don't take the horror as badly because it's kind of laughable, but
so and also Woody Harrelson's character was significantly older than Juliette Lewis, because I even remember watching it getting kind of like
going
grossed
like,
out, because I'm like, that's like a grown man and she's like my age.
She was like really young at that time, like 1920.
Yeah. I think in the movie she was supposed to be even younger than that.
I think so too. Yeah.
She always played like younger. She was really
she was so young. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And in the movie, they go to her house and they murder her parents, but they spare her little brother. That I didn't remember. I vaguely remember the whole house scene. And it was really
at least
grotesque, but
save the pro.
Right. But the night of the murders, Jeremy had watched the movie with friends, and afterwards he told them, this is what my girlfriend and I will do, but we won't leave her little brother alive.
Oh my God.
And again, they were like whatevs. Okay.
And like,
all right,
dickhead.
Yeah.
Why take the little boy into account? Leave him alone. Right. Okay.
But also that night, while they were watching the movie and all that, he was high on a mix of alcohol, pot, ecstasy, and cocaine.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, he had
pick one. Pick a lane. Choose a lane. Don't do them all.
Oh yeah, he had them
all. Can't be in all the lanes.
Right.
Wow. Yikes.
So after that, he went to the Richardson's house, where Jasmine snuck him in.
Okay.
And he waited in the basement while she went back upstairs.
See, she was totally involved.
Okay. When Deborah went down to the basement to do laundry, Jeremy attacked her with one of the 6-inch knives.
Jesus.
Mark heard his wife screaming and ran down to the basement, but he was too late. Jeremy then turned the knife on Mark, who tried to fight back with a screwdriver.
Okay.
But Jeremy,
like, he didn't even get Jeremy at all.
I guess Jeremy had I read somewhere that Jeremy had a black eye the next day, but again, that didn't faze anybody because he was known to get into trouble and cause fights and be kind of an ass, and so no, everyone was like, "Oh, Jerry's got a black eye again."
Yeah, somebody was sick of his bullshit.
But according to Jeremy, as Mark was dying, he was able to mutter out the word "why," and Jeremy replied, "Because your daughter wanted it that way."
Oh,
right.
That's
so
rough.
This is where what happened next differs.
Okay.
According to Jeremy, Jasmine went into Tyler's room while he was sleeping and killed him.
Ugh.
But according to Jasmine, Jeremy forced her to stab Tyler.
I don't believe anything she says, right?
I know.
No.
And she did a poor job, so Jeremy slit his throat.
Oh,
that's what she said.
That poor baby. How horrifying. Last moments.
This is also a little weird. I don't totally understand it, but Jeremy then left the house. Jasmine stayed behind in the house with her dead family for I'm not sure how much time, an hour. Okay. I don't know, like a portion, more than 10 seconds. Okay. Because to me, anything longer than that is
psychotic.
Whatever. Yeah. Right. Then she went to a convenience store to get cash, and then took a cab to Jeremy's trailer before they headed out to get something to eat and hang with friends.
Oh my God. Maybe she had to take a shower, get all the blood off.
She probably had to clean up, right? Because I'm sure she was a bit of a
mess. Jesus Christ.
Right.
And just to go, let's go eat. Let's get a burger. I'm hungry. That was hard. And then let's go see friends.
Yeah, I'm starving now. So while they were awaiting trial, the couple sent letters to one another. They were allowed to. I assume because the police were like, let's see what they say to each other.
Let's get more info. Yeah.
Unfortunately, what they did say to each other was that Jeremy asked her to marry him, and she said yes.
Gross. So they could have puppies. Little puppies.
Puppies.
Oh.
Little werewolf babies.
Little werewolf babies.
So each of them was charged with 3 counts of murder. Because Jasmine was underage, they had to be tried separately. Her trial began first in June of 2007, where she pled not guilty. Her defense was that she was a young, impressionable girl who got mixed up with an older man. And when her parents tried to stop the relationship, she got angry and wished that they were dead, but she didn't actually mean it. And she had no idea that Jeremy was going to take her seriously and actually harm them.
Okay, that all sounded real until the last part where she didn't know.
Right. She was a total innocent bystander.
Part of this, no.
Okay, but the prosecution argued that Jasmine was an active participant in the planning.
Absolutely.
And the acting out of the murders. And they had a lot of evidence. Okay. They presented
that cartoon alone.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. They presented tons of communication between the two online. By the way, they never brought up the fact that he was a werewolf. They just kind of left that out.
Damn it.
They had enough. They're like, we're good.
We don't need
have to go down that road, right?
Yeah, that's true. Plus, it might.
It was like inflammatory. I'm like, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean, he brought it on. He's saying it about himself, so I don't
know. So they had all their online communication, and it didn't sound like your typical preteen angry with her parents type of stuff.
Okay.
One conversation that they had, it says, "Runaway Devil says, I miss you more than killing people." I'm like, are there others? What are you talking about?
How many have you killed? We do? This is like, how romantic.
It says, "I miss you more than killing people. Can we get together and kill people?" Rawr. And then rawr. R-A-W-R.
Rawr.
They're so tough. Rawr. I hate them. So I have this plan, and it begins with me killing them, and it ends with me living with you.
Okay. Yep. There it is.
Right. And Soul Eater responded with, "Well, I love your plan, but we need to get a little more creative with like details and stuff." I know, they're kind of idiots.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Good job.
The jury was shown 1,500 photos of the violent and bloody crime scene.
Oh, wow.
Just to show exactly.
Wow. How depraved it was.
Exactly. So they also wanted to prove the fact that if she was what she said she was, which was a bystander,
right?
One would think she would be very upset and traumatized,
right?
That she just watched her boyfriend slaughter her family,
totally.
Right? But they had the cab driver testify that Jasmine acted completely normal and was actually cheerful when he picked her up.
Oh, she's chipper. My life's so much easier now.
Exactly, right? And they had witnesses that testified to seeing them in a restaurant just hours after the murder where they were cuddling and kissing.
Ew.
So how upset and mortified was she?
Yeah. Don't think she was too worried about that.
Then her own friends testified how Jasmine was acting right after the murders, like the ones that they hung out with.
Okay.
And how she told them how her little brother had been making a gurgling sound as he died, which they said based on his autopsy would have been accurate.
Oh.
And that she said it would have been cruel to leave Tyler alive without parents.
Oh my God.
This was a mercy killing?
Yeah. Gee, thanks. Wow.
The big sister that he looked up to?
Yeah. What a twat. I'm sorry.
God.
That's shitty.
Yeah.
Shitty. Where did she lose her soul? I guess the soul eater ate her soul.
The soul ate her soul. Exactly. Being the brilliant 12-year-old that she was, she took the stand in her own defense.
Oh no. Why did they allow her to do that? You would think
I don't
they wouldn't even allow that.
Maybe they were just like, you know what, we're sunk. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
say whatever
you can't.
I don't know.
Make it any worse.
She said she blamed herself for the murders because she had told Jeremy she wanted them dead. She told the jury that she tried to comfort Tyler as they heard their parents being murdered.
Oh my God.
This is what she said in court.
Oh my God, girl.
She told the jury that she had gotten a knife, the other knife that was there, to protect herself and Jeremy from, or herself and Tyler from Jeremy.
From Jeremy, right.
But then Jeremy came in the bedroom and he demanded that she stab her brother. And she did. And then Jeremy slit his throat to ensure he was dead.
That's so disturbing.
But his autopsy also showed that it looked like he had been strangled first or attempted to be strangled. So I think it's more likely that she went into his room while he was sleeping and tried to strangle him. And then when that didn't work.
Oh my God, that's so cruel. I can't even imagine being that cruel.
It's disgusting.
At any age, but especially at that age.
Right. She was angry. Okay. Not that it justifies it. She was angry at her parents. She had no beef with her little brother.
No. What's he got to do with it? Just that
and
she
wanted
wanted
the one she took out.
Right. I'm wondering if she just wanted to look cool to Jeremy and tough and like, okay, I can do this. What a fucking bitch. Okay.
So Jasmine Richardson was found guilty of 3 counts of first-degree murder.
Okay, good.
And when she was found guilty, by this time, she was 13. That made her the youngest person to be convicted of multiple murders in Canada.
Whoa. Wow.
Which is how I found the story, because I was trying to look up 13-year-old murderers and I found her and I went,
Jesus freaking Christ.
Plus it had a whole werewolf angle to it.
I mean, the werewolf, you can't not have a werewolf angle. I mean, you can't resist that. Yeah.
I got to do this story. Okay.
Holy
but since she was, Canadian law is slightly different. Since she was under the age of 14 when she committed the crime, she could not be sentenced as an adult.
Okay.
So she was given the maximum sentence allowed, which was 10 years. Oh, it gets worse.
Okay.
Only 6 of those would be served in prison.
Oh my God.
And she was given credit for the 18 months she had been in custody since her arrest. So after the 6 years in prison, minus the 18 months, she would be transferred to a psychiatric institution for rehabilitation for 4 years.
Okay, that's good.
And then after that 4 years, she would have 4.5 years of supervised living.
Oh my God. Well, I'm glad at least they go to like psych therapy, like really big therapy.
Sure.
I wish that was.
I still am like, really?
But still, that's so very little. So does that mean she's out now? Because that was, oh God.
Oh, I'll give you the update.
You'll get to that. Okay.
All right. So, but first it was Jeremy's trial.
Oh God. All right.
He was tried as an adult because despite his 13-year-old brain and his 3-year-old, he's
23
somewhere between 23 and 300. So he's definitely an adult. So his defense, his defense was that he was a weak-willed, immature man with low self-esteem due to years of abuse during childhood. No one's going to argue that.
Yeah, all true.
But I know a lot of people who lived that way who did not become werewolves and killed people.
Right. I know a lot of man babies and they are not killers.
Right.
So many man babies. But yeah.
But because of that, his defense was that he was desperate for affection and he would have done anything to keep Jasmine.
Okay.
And even his friends testified in court that, he would have done anything for her.
Still, you still have a choice. You have a choice to say, that's not going to help anybody.
He took the stand in his own defense as well, because why not?
Why not? I'm a werewolf. I know how to talk to people. It's been 300 years.
He testified that Jasmine controlled him and that he thought she was much older than 12. That's okay. She thought you were much older than 23.
Yeah.
But whatever. He thought she was much older than 12. So she was like this manipulative
mastermind, because at 12, of course, you can get to that point.
He said that this is what he testified to. On the night of the murders, he was high. As we know, he had a whole cocktail in his system.
Yeah, you did everything that night.
And he had not intended to kill anyone. He thought he was going over to the Richardson house to help Jasmine sneak out so that they could run off together.
Right. So he stayed in the basement with a knife.
I don't know. While she gathered her clothes. I don't know. She let him in. He stayed in the basement. He said he honestly could only recall stabbing Deborah once in the stomach. And that he vaguely remembered defending himself against Mark, but that was it. Everything else from that whole night, he had no memory of whatsoever.
Right. We don't believe you. Wow. Okay. So
I know it's going to shock you, but he was found guilty.
Oh, what? Yeah.
He was given the maximum sentence as an adult, which was 3 life terms.
Oh, good.
With eligibility for parole only after a minimum of 25 years.
Oh, okay. Good. So
I don't think he should have gotten it either. But he's definitely
in there.
He's in there, right? So he's done. And apparently after that, and because of the prison and all that, so they lost contact with each other. They're not in contact with each other.
Good.
So, thank goodness.
Don't seem like they should be around each other.
That was
explosive. Bad combination.
Right. In the fall of 2011, Jasmine was released from the psychiatric institution. It was reported that she had finally shown remorse and responsibility for her actions, and that she was basically the poster child for rehabilitation.
Oh, right. Because she did learn how to fake it really well, I bet.
I mean, while under supervised living, because remember, then she was let out of there and then she was just like supervised, right? She was given a new identity so that no one had to know. Right? And she actually began attending classes at Mount Royal University in Calgary. So she got to get a college education too. In May of 2016, her supervision was complete. And after a final sentence review, they said that since she had stayed out of trouble for 5 years after her release, her record was expunged, meaning there is no record of her crime on her personal record anymore. She's clean. She's done.
Oh my God.
Okay. That was in May of 2016. Her parents were killed in 2006. So 10 years after slaughtering her family, she's out in the world free with a new identity, college education.
Who knows whoa. Yikes. You don't just do that and become okay.
Yep. Her whereabouts are now completely unknown.
I hope the therapy really did erase all that. I don't know if it could, but holy balls.
The other thing that I heard, I wasn't even going to put it in the story because I found it so disgusting.
Oh no.
The judge even said that she had done such a good job of rehabilitating herself that he said something along the lines of, it was so disgusting, of, I think your parents and your brother would be proud of you.
Don't
and I was
bring
like, are
that shit in there. No, that's bad.
That's nauseating.
Bad. Do you think they would be proud?
You think they are?
But they can't be here to tell you, can they? Because she killed them. So, wow.
So, I am completely against the fact that she's just free and ready to go. And
yeah.
Plus, she doesn't even have to live a life of difficulty getting a job
because of the name.
Because her name's gone and her record was not sealed, expunged, gone.
That's
Bye-bye.
not okay. There should be some now you got to deal with consequences for the rest of your life of having to live with this name that you built for yourself.
Exactly.
But she doesn't even have to have that. Holy balls, I guess to kill you when you should go to Canada. Ugh.
I guess so.
Anyway.
But you got to do it before you're 14.
Yeah. Which, then you're, psycho for life. But good story. Good story. Where'd you find all this?
Okay, so it was hard for me to find actual articles.
Because she got her credit or her whole thing expunged. Her whole past.
Exactly. And a lot of the articles that came out before that was all under like JR or something because they couldn't use her name because she was underage. So I had a hard time finding specific articles. But I watched an episode of Coffee House Crime on YouTube called The 12-Year-Old Who Became a Triple Murderer, the Richardson Family.
Yes.
There was an episode I found a lot of stuff on YouTube because I got tired of trying to find articles.
I know.
They all kind of said the same thing. It was like a whole bunch of articles, but I'm like, this is the same shit. There was an episode from Under the Ash Tree on YouTube called The Murder of the Richardson Family.
Okay.
An episode from The Crime Reel on YouTube called 12-Year-Old Murderer Jasmine Richardson. And then I got some specific dates and things from allthat'sinteresting.com. And then I filled in the gaps with Wikipedia, looking up stuff for like Medicine Hat. And,
all the different little things.
Yeah, that kind of.
Whew, that's rough.
Specifics on her sentencing and all that. And
I can't believe she got away with it, basically.
Seriously.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of ODFM. ODFM is hosted by Kelly DeVries and Jenna Swanson. Editing and production is by Kelly DeVries. Theme music is by Eric Swanson. For images from each episode and more, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok with the handle ODFM Podcast. For video episodes, subscribe to our YouTube channel by searching for ODFM Podcast. If you are looking for more content, chances at prizes and more, become a Patreon fan at patreon.com/ODFM Podcast. Subscribing to our Patreon is a great way to help us get better equipment, and our big goal is to hire an editor someday, so your contribution could really make a difference. If you can't give monthly, there are other ways you can help. Share us with your true crime friends. Word of mouth goes a long way. Or you can give us a one-time contribution through buymeacoffee.com/ODFM Podcast. We appreciate your support, and someday we hope to make ODFM our main jobs with your help.